Namaskar. Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. I'm your host Sridhar. Joining me today after a brief hiatus is Sridhar Chityala ji. Sridhar is a very busy man. There is software now coming out. Where in the world is Sridhar Chityala? Here he is. Namaskaram, sir. How are you?
Namaste, ji. Namaste, and very happy to be here. Namaste to all of you. Namaste to all of you. Very happy to be back to be partnering with our one and only Sri Ayarji.
Thank you so much, sir. Your words mean a lot. Sir, one thing that has been happening is we knew this is going to happen, that there will be challenges at court level. Some you win, some you lose. For example, the federal court judge, he put a lien on even allowing the Treasury secretary from accessing his own software that would give him the data about the Department of Treasury. Then 2 days later, another judge said, okay, he can access it, but not the others. So, these are all minor victories, minor defeats. Interestingly, the 60,000 federal employees wanted to take the offer of the president to take leave because they were getting paid 9 months pay. And their union sued and said that, no, we don't want you to allow this. And one judge put a place to stay on it. But 2 days later, like today, that has been vacated. That means the federal employees can actually take that severance package and go home. This is voluntary retirement in India. It's been going on for a long time, right? So be that as it may be, lot of arrows being aimed at Elon Musk. I mean, I myself have done 10 programs already, Sridharji, about the various egregious expenses that the Democrats have run up in the last 4 years. This last 4 years is like, my God, it's Bunty and Bubbly all in full form, sir. Over to you. What do you think Trump can do to try and get some of these things to go away? Over to you, sir.
My opening statement for that would be Sri Iyer and Sridhar Chityala and DGI stands vindicated. We covered right throughout the 4 years the amount of excesses that was going on and that was not reported. And many of you would have seen comments that were coming out that was contradictory as to where our information was coming from and what our observations were. Now, all this information is being thrown into the public. We have to ask all these people who commented, where did they get this information from? What is their stand? And why would the judges need to go out of the way to come in and thwart the moves? They're only thwarting. They cannot stifle, they cannot stall, because it only is going to slow the process. But more critically, what is happening now is the truth is now beginning to come out from documents that are now being made, that are being released progressively. So that's my first observation, Sriji, in terms of what we have stated right throughout, right? So how many books you have written on this? About 5, 6 now, Sriji, going back from 2020.
Absolutely. In fact, I almost teared up when I heard that finally, Trump has become the president again, because there were so many brickbats. Viewers, you don't know the pain Sridharji and I went through. At least 4 episodes of DGI got deleted on YouTube without them even telling us that they were deleting them. All of them involved around practices used in the 2020 elections. I mean, if I say a little bit more than that, they will probably, cut down on this one too. I don't know when YouTube is going to wake up and smell the coffee. They have backed the wrong horses consistently. You're seeing what is playing out when this new kid who's got 1.5 million, 2 million, I don't know how many followers he has got. And he has been a huge influence on the young youth of India. And finally, you find out that this guy is a pervert. And here we are struggling to tell you the truth, and people put a kibosh on our face. Don't let us say whatever. This is the truth. We're not making it up. Sridharji, let's get back to the point here. Now, we knew, like I have said this thing, sir, from the very beginning, if Trump can get 30% of the things that he has set out to do, his promises, that's a huge victory. Be that as it may, now what is happening is, let's take the big one, which is not allowing DOJ to get access to the Treasury.
Correct.
And so how do you think he's going to take that one on? I mean, he can definitely say, look, screw you. I'm the executive. I'm going to do. I've been elected to do this job. You are not elected. You are selected, and I'm going to do this job. That's one way to look at it. Your thoughts, sir?
No, I think how is he going to tackle this issue? I think he's going to tackle this issue is in one of three ways. One is he will use formally the House and the Senate. He can use the Senate to actually do an audit and review of the process. And he's already contemplating that. Given that they have a Senate majority, they can use the majority and use that vehicle to basically go and begin to start commencing. And as part of the audit process, information cannot be held back. Just as the which code? I think is it? Let me
Federal
go back
code.
to
Federal
Huh?
code. Federal
No,
code, sir.
there's a specific state code. I think it is either it's New Hampshire or it is one other. We'll come back to. The judges stated you have not still complied, so you are in contempt of court. Okay. Now, if the Treasury and the officials are not giving post a Senate approval, they will be in contempt and violation of the Senate directive. There are consequences for that. Okay, there are consequences for that. So therefore, this is going to get into only a delay, but eventually they're going to get to the truth. That's number one point. Number one. Number two, when should, if it's not Ron Paul, someone else who is going to do the audit of the Treasury, a lot of things that are going to come out, just as the truth came out on the previous point, which is namely the prior point, which how specific directive was given to the social media companies as to why they should not be promoting and supporting certain schemes. You're going to see very similar kind of actions on the Treasury related as to what the policy positions need to be. You may or may not see, but some truth. That's the reason why people are staying back. Number two. Number three, this again we covered in DGI. Much of the tenure during those 4 years, Janet Yellen was absent in the Treasury. We covered this.
What was the thing about that, sir? What was the deal about that, sir?
I think the deal about that is that, we'll come to know, Sriji. We'll come to know. Let's just
okay.
let's wait whether she was absent. We covered this. Where is Madam Ellen? Where is Dr. Ellen?
Yes.
We covered this in DGI. So these three things will force, is only a delay in terms of what is it that they are kind of hiding within, why they are not giving access, and what is the specific payments. Because all payments, either for transfers or for support of sanctions, must happen through Treasury and Treasury to Fed. Any sanction program has to happen through Treasury and Fed. So where is this leading to? Is it leading to Ukraine? Is it leading to Iran? Is it leading to some of the stuff in Hamas? Where is this leading to? So we'll kind of come to know. So did Janet Yellen want to be part of all this? Or she says, oh no, I'm kind of going here and there and attending some very key important meeting. Some of this stuff is going to come out as we kind of move the needle forward. We don't want to put the cart before the horse when some of these things come out, and we have a big story to cover, Sriji, there.
Absolutely. See, one of the things that Trump has done is he is pretty across the base. He said Department of Defense has not passed an audit in years, donkey's years. Let's look at that too. And DOG is looking at that too. Sridharji, one thing that blows my mind is these people have misappropriated funds from holy cow Social Security Administration to house the illegals. By the way, another news update for you viewers. News update is $59 million that went from, I think, FEMA to pay the illegal housing for five-star hotels in New York City has been pulled back. That money has come back. That has been complete. So who's going to pay that? That's a problem for the New York City. The point is that this misappropriation, taking money from one department and putting it for something else, at least in that one case, it has been stopped. So Social Security Administration touching that is so serious. I mean, Now even the hardcore Democrats will start voting for Republicans if Trump can unearth that and undo all that damage, Sridharji.
I think that's the reason why the difference between Trump 1 versus Trump 2, the difference between Trump 1 versus Trump 2 is the actions and policies that the Trump is pushing in Trump 2 directly has consequences in terms of the wallet impact of the common man. How the common people have been impacted as a result of many things, and their money were being used to fund programs that are detrimental to the citizens of United States. This is what is going to come out. That's the reason why even, whether it is a Pew poll or whether it is Rasmussen poll or whether any of these things, you're beginning to see that there is a growing support in terms of that President Trump is doing what he promised to do during his kind of election campaign. So that's what you're going to see. I think that on the FEMA point, he's saying the FEMA needs to be kind of abolished. FEMA has kind of no role. I think that's number one. You only touch Social Security. We talked about this again in DGI. They even took money from veteran affairs. Money that was what was set aside within the budget. They found, we have some money here in veteran affairs. They took money from veteran affairs. How do they fund these programs? They fund these programs by giving on anonymous prepaid cards. There's no name. So money is put on prepaid cards. It's a great instrument that United States uses, one of the most archaic payment methods because no identity, and they freely distribute it. In India, if you do free distribution of cash, here they do free distribution through the 16-digit. You can go and spend money kind of anywhere. Is some of the consumer spend that you are beginning to see is as a result of that, or has the money kind of left and gone somewhere else? We don't know. But as you rightly point out, it is astonishing, the money allocation. What the Democrats and the Democratic administration would say is they got the directive from the government, formal directive from the government, to use this money as directed. Once they have the order, the guys who executed this will escape the rule of law. Then it goes to the guys who kind of enforced or enacted this law, Sri. And I think that's where the investigations is going to go. Remember, there are 3 investigations that are actually being launched. One is these programs. Second, they're now even going into the 9/11 investigations. The House is going back even into the 9/11 investigations. The distribution of money in the first 2 wars, the Afghan war and the Iraq wars. So you're going to see a lot of things come out because trillions and trillions of dollars, the so-called debt, is a direct result of this unbinged expenditure that has been perpetuated over 12, 14 years across many administrations. It's not just Democrat, but it's also across the other administration.
Sridharji, you have segued nicely into my next topic. See, viewers, there was a press conference today. Caroline Levitt, this is a shining star. She is rising very fast indeed. I wouldn't be surprised if she becomes one of the leading politicians of tomorrow. Tomorrow meaning loosely in the future. And there was a press conference, and look at the number. I'm not going to reveal it. You can see for yourself. Sridharji, with your permission, I'd like to play this video.
Yes. I want to go back to DOGE just for a second. Earlier, the subcommittee headed by Chairman Marjorie Taylor Greene, her and her staff discovered $2.7 trillion in improper payments to Medicare, Medicaid, overseas, to people who should not have gotten it. Some of this room might have missed that press conference. Can you elaborate on what the president is thinking at this point?
Well, again, that's another example. There's a very long list of the fraud, waste, and abuse that DOGE is identifying on a daily basis. Elon Musk also talked about yesterday about Social Security payments that are going out the door for people who are no longer with us. Unfortunately, I would say that is certainly fraud. There's also a lot of contracts they've identified that, just as a hypothetical example, are $1 million, but only 500,000 went out the door. So where's the rest of that cash? And so that's the thing. Those are the things that DOGE is working on every single day. And I would just remind everybody in this room, this is what President Trump campaigned on doing. He's delivering on a promise that 77 million people elected him to do.
So the number here is $2.7 trillion. This is Medicare, Medicaid expenses that have been paid outside of United States. See, there is one clause. Retiring US citizens can retire anywhere in the world. And there is some medical coverage because the Medicare, Medicaid, I don't know how that plays out. I haven't tried it myself, but Sridharji, you may know. Do you get Medicare, Medicaid help in Singapore, sir, when you are living
No,
in
I
Singapore?
think that my Medicare and Medicaid expenses when I'm in Australia, India, Singapore, no, there is no Medicare. I have to spend out of pocket. I'm
Okay.
eligible only when I am living in my home in United States. Medicare and Medicaid is available for regular usage only for U.S. citizens living in U.S. There's only one exception to the only 1 minute. Only one exception to the rule. If you have an emergency situation that you are confronted with overseas, then what happens is if you incur a surgery or expense, then you can claim a reimbursement. But for your normal medical coverage, you are not allowed to claim benefits, or you are not even allowed to use your card or to make a claim to Medicare and Medicaid. But having said that, that's another topic we don't want to get into as to how you can go over the counter and get a check issued. If you tell compassionately to the lady sitting across the counter, hey, I had this problem, I'm on a kind of, blah, 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 and I incurred this, you can see, it's about $2,000. At her discretion, she can cut a $2,000 check to you when you are in the United States. Okay. So what he's talking about is people, who have come across, using this type of principle and getting money as cash checks across the counter in Social Security offices.
So viewers, this 2.7 trillion, almost all of that is basically bribe or kickbacks or something else. It's what it looks like. And this is again a huge number. We talked about 100 billion missing in Treasury, of which 50 billion has been given to people who are deceased. So somebody is drawing monthly paychecks from, like, for example, Social Security checks. That person is dead. And that's also happening. So I am curious as to who has been getting all this money. How much can it be clawed back, sir? Let's say you identify that 50 billion is like this. How much of that can be clawed back?
Well, I think that, it's very interesting because I'm sorry to go back. Well, in 2020 elections, dead came back to be alive.
The dead came back to vote, yes.
Right? So, and dead continues, and people laughed at us when we tried to point this out, right? Especially the woke who turn up to listen to these meetings, and then but they don't want to accept the truth. They think that, someone is running a propaganda. It's your own tax money, man. It's your own money that is being robbed of you and being given to people who are not qualified or eligible to, receive this money. Okay, that's the truth. Now, you're asking a question, can we claw back? You can stop the future bleeding. But I think the money has left. You'll see many of the bank accounts, people wake up, it's closed. They may have incorrect addresses, right? If it is going in. If they have received in checks, they would have encashed the checks and they would have left. If it is given via prepaid cards, that has gone as well. So I think a lot of money that is lost, Sriji. I think that what they're saying, this whole Dodge program is all about stopping and stalling people from, making sure that many of these programs are immediately discontinued, and so that the country doesn't continue to bleed.
Viewers, there's another story that is breaking out. Sridharji, do you remember the margin of loss for Donald Trump in the state of Georgia in 2020? You remember that?
No, very small.
Very small. So, okay, let's not worry about the number. But you know what has surfaced? One lady has supplied to 9,900 people her address as the postal address for them to cast their vote in the Georgia in 2020 elections. This is illegal, blatantly illegal. This is a US citizen that has done that. So look, I don't understand what is going on. Sir, another thing that happened in one of the cities in US, a lady has this big knife, the butcher knife kind of thing, the huge, big knife. The blade is about 7 inches long. She has it in her bag. There is a family, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, mother, a daughter 3 years old, son is 4 years old, mother and father. They're walking down the footpath. She comes and tries to slash the boy. The boy has cuts. And when the father goes after her, she starts showing him. The guy is scared. He just jumps back with this big a knife. And I am like, what is wrong with this society? These are strangers. They are tourists walking down the path. Sridhar ji, I know you told me 4 years ago, 3 years ago that Manhattan is gone. How much has it been recovered so far? I know you've probably gone back to your home the recent past.
Well, I think that it is, we are hoping that things will slowly and steadily get back to normalcy. What are the two things that must happen? First thing that must happen is these buses and vehicles and planes must stop getting these people and dropping them off in import. That's number one. The second that must happen is shoring up the police force in Manhattan and granting them the enforcement capabilities to enforce law. Much of the issues in Manhattan, you talk to an average cop, NYPD, he will tell you that what can we do, sir, because there is no enforcement kind of directive. And if there is robberies in your store, he says, no, if you tell me, is it about $1,000? No, it's not. No, sir, we can't even register the case for it. So therefore, I think the second that must happen is the rule of law must come back. Otherwise, we will be very soon a third-class country and many cities relegated to third class. I think that's second. And the third, if I have to say, the judicial system. Remember the judicial system, the George Soros appointees, and all these other kind of sympathizers of Democratic Party. I mean, you would have seen photos and photos and photos of George Soros' son with a whole bunch of both even Indian officials and then of course the US officials with the Democratic Party. Their whole goal was to fund this the lawyers and so therefore, and who let all these people off in bail. So we need a stronger judicial system which puts the people, at least restrains these people for a shorter period of time before the law prevails. Otherwise, without 1, 2, and 3, we can't see, and we're beginning to see some semblance of it. And again, one more bill that is before the House and the Senate is Trump administration has asked for X amount of billions of dollars for both ICE and local law so that these agencies can be shored up. But let's wait and see what happens, Sriji.
Thank you so much, Sridharji. And viewers, I give you my word that Sridharji will be back very often. Look, both of us are traveling, and I just got back to United States. Sridharji, I don't know, he's still in Singapore, but he might be coming to US soon. So there is always this travel schedules, and also, the idea was always to have a regular one-on-one touch. Sometimes it's difficult. Sridharji fell sick for a week or so that he couldn't do it. But be that as it may, our intent is to get Sridharji on a regular basis. My promise, and we will be having him on a regular basis because, trust me, next 6 months, all going to be dollar, dollar, dollar. And there is a new scheme that is being thought about. We will come to that in the next time because it is exactly about de-dollarization. We will call it re-dollarization. Change the D to R, re-dollarization, because something else is cooking in the kitchen of Trump. Sridharji knows about it. I know about it. We'll talk about that. See, he's grinning. He knows about it. So you want to give us a hint?
Calling 3 years, I got a duck, which is namely to say, tomorrow there is going to be BRICS. Day after tomorrow, there is going to be cross currency. And Modi ji is going to be walking with, his new rupee all over the place. I mean, people forget 75 to 80. I've mentioned all of this data. Why should we debate with people when you have data? You debate with the data and you determine for yourself what is right. We don't need to debate with people who want to throw theories. Theories. It's speculation. Okay, it's speculation. There's no trade. There is no currency movement. There's no investments. There's no trade flows. So what do you want to kind of speculate? You can speculate on somebody's theory, what is likely to happen in 50 years, or what is happening today. I think that, to me, what is happening today and what is happening tomorrow makes more sense to me. What is happening 50 years from today, when I won't be alive, when I'm dead and gone. Somebody else can kind of pick that up.
Yes, indeed. And sir, here we could take some questions from our viewers, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Shruti Chandakji says, Sridharji, namaskar. There's a lot of talking about de-dollarization going on in most social media. Who predict a scary outcome for Americans in regards to social and financial state? Your takes are. He just answered this question. You can add a few more thoughts on this, sir.
No, I think that for the next 4 years, you can pretty much see that Trump has basically said, if you want to de-dollar, get out of United States. We don't want to be working with you. We'll put tariff on all of you, or we will block you from working with us. Look at who are the major trading partners of United States, and then it is very self-evident. Again, to give you a data, US and Euro represents the largest kind of trading block as a basis of currency. Now, I'll give you 3 important data points. One data point: when you take a look at the market cap, which is around $105 to $106 trillion, close to 60% of the market cap is US companies in US dollars. Then you take the balance 40%, then you have, at least some element of it, I've not done work as yet, is in US dollars. So that's the first kind of data point. Second, if you take a look at the investment flows that is going around the world, then you see US dollar continues to be a very strong dollar flow, including into China, let alone India. So that's the number 2 data point. Number 3, which is namely the reserves held by various countries, and US dollar is dominating. Renminbi is 2%. Okay, renminbi is 2%, and Russian ruble doesn't exist. So US dollar is again a significant part of that reserve currency that is held by many nations, including India. So I mean, I don't know, what is it that you want to keep on talking de-dollarization, de-dollar? What I don't understand, Sriji, this question that people keep on, bringing this up. There's no data to back it up. That's all I'm trying to say. Where is the data? You have to give some data to back up what you're saying. Because anybody can write in social media, anybody can say anything what they want. Okay, so there's no kind of justification.
Thank you, sir. And couple of things that I wanted to update you also, viewers, because the fur is flying in thick and fast. I mean, there is so much information happening today. I'm still catching my breath. Tulsi Gabbard has been sworn in by the Attorney General Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi has also told New York, I think they have sued New York, saying you cannot be a sanctuary city, no more money for sanctuary BS. That's also going to be told, I think it's already been told, to other sanctuary cities like San Francisco, to Seattle, to Portland. Chicago already has been read its right act. Sridharji, this alone is actually going to make a huge problem for the illegal. That tap is stopped. The $2,000 a month or whatever per individual, that is stopped. How long will they be able to stay? No food stamps, no nothing, no legal status. You don't have any standard. You don't have any social security also. Maybe they have given them social security, but there is no money to give them. What's going to happen, you think, sir?
So 2 things are going to happen. Once the ICE, that is Immigration Control Enforcement, once the ICE agents are appointed, they're going to hunt. They've also told communities, whenever you find something suspicious, please let us know. Okay. So they're going to go after these people. Already plane loads of people being shipped, whether it is Nicaragua, whether it is to Mexico, whether it is to El Salvador. El Salvador has even stated that will not only take back people if you want to create a kind of a base.
30,000 holding facility.
Yeah, holding facilities will do that. So what you're seeing is that when these people see these planes going and taking these people, there is going to be a natural attrition or people fearing and leaving, already the caravans coming from Mexico has stopped at the border, and much more what you call freedom has been given by the state of Texas to both National Guard and other people. So what you're going to see, Sriji, is one, deportation. Second is this cutting of the supply of money, and third is natural kind of attrition of people going out. This happened during the Trump period, when a lot of illegals who were supposed to be coming into Mexico stopped coming, and that was picked up by the banking industry in terms of remittance flows that was going from Mexico to US to Mexico. Substantial reduction in the repatriation of money that was going from the Texas or Houston, Texas to US corridor, Texas to Mexico corridor. In fact, we had good amount of flow. This is where India picked up a lot of money on the US-India corridor, and Mexico losing out. This is the way you're going to see some of the data, Sriji.
Also, viewers, another update on confirmations. Robert F. Kennedy has been confirmed. The Senate vote was 53-47. They thought J.D. Vance may have to be there to break the tie, but luckily that didn't happen. He's also now confirmed. So the last one remaining, I guess, is Kash Patel. And that's going to be a tough one, because not that he's not going to be through. It's just that it is here. It is sticking in their throats. It is sticking in their throats. What kind of things is he going to find out? That's the fear that Democrats have. Especially, sir, you and I know the kind of senator we have got in California now. What is this, sir? You take all the scum and then say you go and live in California and you become senators. What the heck is this? Very, very bad luck. But he's one of the guys who's right in the crosshairs. We won't even name him.
No. I think that Kash will get through. Based on what we are hearing is that he has support. He'll get through. Kash Patel will be in the cabinet.
Yes. Next question from Ramchandran. Why don't DHS and IRS integrate their systems and deny IT refunds from US Treasury for undocumented folks?
No, it doesn't work that way. There's a very streamlined, each of these departments run their budgets independently. They have specific programs, and this is the way the government is set up. Government has its own kind of logic in terms of how they go about doing it. And that's the process that they use. IRS is within Treasury. DHS is within the Department of Homeland and Security. So the departments don't converge. This is one of the things that need to be addressed through House and Senate through a constitutional amendment process. It can't be just done by a sequence of steps.
And viewers, I did not get notification for this program. I don't know how many of you did get. A small request to all of you to please like this video. We've got some real egg type questions that Sridharji will be itching to answer, I'm sure. So first, let's take some acknowledgements. Thank you so much, Shruti Chandokji, for your generous donation. Sir, one question for you. Next question for you. Donald Trump, this is a parody, of course. The US Treasury is a federal government organization. So why has the case been filed in a Massachusetts court instead of federal court? It is a federal court in Massachusetts. I don't think.
Correct. You're right.
Yeah. So viewers, this is where it is. You have all the state level courts, and then you have the federal court, and then there is one more court after that, and then there is a Supreme Court. I think US District Court, if I remember correctly. They have divided the complete country into 11 districts or something like that. So those are like for 3 states, there will be one court. You can go there and argue also. So this has to permeate one step at a time. And finally, maybe some of these things will be resolved at the Supreme Court of the United States level. But certainly, sir, there is law settled in many of these things. The executive does have the powers. Now we are finding out, isn't it? I mean, the executive does have powers. The DOJ versus Treasury battle, we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Anyway, I think I should be letting you answer this question. Over to you, sir.
No. We are a team. So therefore, I'm glad that you are. See, ask Sridharji. It doesn't say ask Sridharji. well, I think that you put the perspective, because there are several federal courts situated across. So from the perspective of ease of filing a case, that the courts are distributed, because US is a federation across the country. So there are federal courts located in various states, and that can be used to file cases, federal cases in those courts. So those jurisdictions apply from a federal application of the law. So I think that's what is the situation here. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is that we can cover maybe on a separate topic rather than that, the whole kind of the district courts, the appellate courts, the federal courts, then the Supreme Court, and then the local, the state courts. So where and how the jurisdiction is, and how the jurisdiction is applied, as to how one court can kind of be apply, how one court can intervene over the other, and how one court can interpret. For example, this the disbursement of funds, the federal disbursement of funds. One court has said, we are unilaterally stopping it, and the higher court, because the junior court, the higher court has stated, I am not kind of passing a judgment against the lower court, because I'd like him to clarify what is the basis by which he applied. So let's wait before we kind of take that issue further. So there are checks and balances. As we pointed out in the opening program, some of these issues are only stalling, but it's not stifling the eventual kind of outcome of many of those which are genuine. Not all that President Trump thinks he can get away with, but all those kinds of things which are genuine and stands the validity of law will get through.
Thank you, sir. Next question. Donald Trump wants to know, will there be any investigation on the 2020 electoral frauds?
No. No. Done.
Next question from Donald Trump again. Is it really possible to convict people involved in these frauds, or elephants will use this to kick donkey's ass? That's a good one.
Yeah. Well, I think that you will see some convictions. They may take time, but the whole objective is, these are all political. Usually you find that, how many, you can go back and look at last, 24 years or 28 years, because when many of these cases have kind of come to the forefront, how many cases have been prosecuted in terms of the political cases I'm referring to? As far as the markets and as far as the commercial cases are concerned, they will all be executed and prosecuted. People will go to jail. Political cases, unless they are so overwhelmingly and the person who is being prosecuted has no kind of political umbrella to protect him, then he's definitely going to jail. Blagojevich is a good example in Chicago.
Thank you so much. And last question, sir. Aditya wants to know, any updates on the US markets?
We'll give one very soon. I think that we'll give one very soon. I think that the US markets stay positive. The turbulence that you are seeing in the markets is a volatility created by many things that surround tariffs. But it's the only market which is showing very strong resilience, in terms of earnings. But we'll cover that in one of the sessions broadly, both on the equities. On the fixed income side, you'll continue to see high rates prevailing for the rest of the year. When I talk about high rates, I'm talking about 4.3 to 4.5. Notwithstanding Trump's aspirational desire that rates has to be brought down consistent with the policies that he's enacting, I just don't think that's likely to happen. As far as the energy prices are concerned, it's not going to blow up to $100. It's going to be in that 70 to 80. It may even dip below 70, and which is why many Indian, protagonists who said, de-dollarization, and for which, Dr. Puri and others immediately said, no, we'll also buy Russian crude. We'll also buy Indian crude. Sorry, U.S. crude. We'll buy U.S. crude. It's all about price because we have a significant cost on the balance sheet. We are very ready and able and willing to buy. So we'll see more stability in the crude prices. In crypto, I know none of you guys like crypto. You'll continue to see Bitcoin doing very well. I don't know about the others. The others will be like a Doge or a Dodge, but Bitcoin will do.
Dogecoin, Dog-E-Coin or Dogecoin, something like that.
Remember one important fact. We'll cover some of these too. David Sachs, who is one of big. He is the crypto czar, and he is the crypto czar in the government, working with President Trump. If that doesn't send you a signal, well, it certainly sends me a signal as to where that is going. That's on the crypto. FX market, dollar will continue to remain strong. You can already see it. Japanese yen is around 158, 159, and you can see what you call the euro is around 1.03, 1.04. And then, of course, the British pound is around 1.2, 1.25. Indian rupee is around, 86 plus. So,
86 plus. Right.
Yeah, so I think that's on the FX and the cross FX markets. Remember, the Nasdaq did about 30% plus, and the S&P did close to 30%. So it's outstanding year in 2024 as well as 2023. 2025 we may not be at 30%, but we're probably definitely in the high double digits and probably high single digits, or at least low double digits for the S&P for 2025. Already, U.S. economy in 2024, notwithstanding, we predicted when we started global GDP around 1% or greater than 1%. It finished the year greater than 2.34%. We expect U.S. 2025 to be somewhere around the same kind of 2% plus. With so much of investment money coming into U.S. investment, Saudis have committed $65 billion of investment into U.S.
That was 600 billion, sir.
65 billion, not 600 million.
Okay.
Let me check. Let me confirm one more time. Okay.
Yeah, because I heard that Trump was trying to talk them into getting 1 trillion in.
1 trillion. They don't have a balance sheet, sir. They don't have a balance sheet to give 1 trillion. 1 minute, I'll clarify that. Now, that's the number that I saw. I heard. So they don't have a balance sheet, sir. They don't have a balance sheet of that. So the investment into US. Japan is going to invest. What did he say? No, you are absolutely correct. 600 billion floats.
Yes.
600 billion. I'm wrong. I give it to you. I yield over 4 years.
Sir, lately I've been eating, breathing news, and because I need to be able to stay on top of this. There are lots of people who come in a day later. We want to be the first one with the accurate news, and that's been our goal all along. So thank you so much, Sridhar ji.
I give it to you. So Japan is another one which has committed. Saudis have committed. South Korea has committed. Taiwan has committed in terms of semiconductor factories. And Japan has said that it's prepared to invest and take up a larger stake in US steel rather than buying them outright.
Yes, very true. And viewers, this whole DOGE exercise is going to increase the confidence of other countries in the United States system, financial system, and its ability to correct itself. This you should underline and bold it, because countries like India are not able to correct themselves. They know there has been black and white plunder of wealth, and it's continuing, and they are not able to stop it. Look at Trump and understand. I mean, people are asking tough questions now, sir. If Trump can do it, why can't you do it? If Bibi Netanyahu can do it, why can't you finish off some of these lumpens? Lots of questions being asked, tough questions also. But be that as it may, we'll take up this conversation very shortly with Sridhar ji. Thank you so much, sir. Namaskar.
Namaskar, and thanks you all. Very happy to be back and very happy to be talking to all of you. Thanks, Sriji.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaskaram.